Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I want to talk about 5 benefits of support groups because it's one of those resources that is available, but a lot of times people don't necessarily know. People don't utilize them as much, and they don't. And of course, because they're not utilizing them, a lot of times people are not getting the benefits that they can get from the support group. So that's why today we're talking about 5 benefits of support groups. But before I get into that, I want to take a quick moment and say, if you are subscribed, thank you so much for being a part of our awesome world. If you're not yet subscribed, please take a moment and click the subscribe button below so you can join all this awesomeness. And remember to tick the bell so that you are notified when I post new videos so you don't miss anything. And of course, if you'd like to purchase 1 or 3 of my books, also a link below that will take you to a site that shows you all your different options of places where you could get 1 or 3 of my books. Okay, let me get back to it. First, it's a reminder, a good way to be reminded that you are not alone. A lot of times as people go through things and they're isolated, it feels like this is only happening to you. This is something that only you're going through. But when you take the time to participate and engage in support groups, you get to realize, you get to notice that this is not just a you thing, this is something that is happening. And that there are other people who are going through the same experiences, that there are other people who are living the same, whatever it is that you are living, that there are other people in there and that you're not the only person. And it's not, as much as you may not wish that on other people, sometimes it can be a little bit reassuring for people to realize that, hey, this is not just me. This is not, I'm not alone in this. There are other people. And then it also reminds you that there are other people who are thriving, that there are other people who are succeeding, that there are other people who are overcoming whatever that issue is. So the support group, it can be beneficial in a lot of different ways, just from being able to see that it's out there, it's happening, and other people are living it, and other people are beating it, other people are concurring this, other people are whatever it is that you may need to see as you go into a group. 2, it's also a good place to feel supported and have your feelings and experiences validated. Sometimes as people go through things, it can feel like maybe your feeling is wrong. One place or one group that I know really benefit from support groups are caregivers, because there are thoughts and feelings that a person may have about certain things that are happening, and they may feel that it's wrong. They may feel that they shouldn't. They may feel bad about it. But in support groups, people are able to realize, to gain some validation, to be supported, and have someone say, hey, it's okay that you feel that way. I've felt that way. Hey, I understand what you're going through. I understand this. And because even though sometimes our friends and family and other people in our lives can be supportive, they can do their best to understand. But sometimes people feel a little bit more understood, a little bit more seen by those who are sharing the experience with them. So it's a good place to be supported and feel validated and have your experiences be validated, and have someone else tell you, no, you're not the only one who had that thought. No, you're not the only one who has that feeling. No, you're not the only one who has been there. 3, it's an opportunity to gain and share resources. One of the best things that usually happens in support groups is that people are sharing with one another the things that they are learning, the resources that they are finding that are helping them deal with whatever the situation is. There's a great learning opportunity, because as much as the professionals and all the other people out there may be doing research and finding resources, there are things that the people who are living in a situation will find and know and learn that has not gotten to the larger body of resource yet, or research. So being in there, when you're in that support group, you may be able to find people who will give you these little tidbits that others cannot, because others have not been there. You may know that, hey, yes, I have this medication that I'm taking. And then you'll find someone that says, Hey, if you take it at night, the side effects are less, or if you take it in the morning, it's more efficient. All these little things, people learn and share a lot of information in support groups. 4, it's a good place to gain a different perspective sometimes, because a lot of times as people go through difficult moments, it can be downing, it can be overwhelming, it can add to the pressures of life. It can be disruptive. But sometimes being in an environment with people who are going through the same thing, with people who are sharing your experience, sometimes they're able to help you shift perspective in ways that even the professionals who are out there, who are trained, who are experienced doing this, may not be able to do. There's that connection that happens between two people, between a group of people who are sharing an experience that no amount of education and training can replace. So being able to be among other people can help you shift perspective. It can help you see things differently. It can be empowering. It can be it's a useful tool, and I usually encourage people to use it. And finally, it's cost effective. Support groups can form in various ways, because a support group could be formed by a group of people who just happen to know each other and come together and decide, hey, we're doing this for ourselves. Or sometimes you can find a support group that is led by a trained professional. Regardless of how your group comes together, it can be more cost effective, because even if it is let's say you're going to a grief support group, you're going to a caregiver support group, whatever that may be that you're going to, a lot of times the cost is much less than what it would be to receive individual counseling. And it could be a great supplement to individual counseling, because sometimes you may not be able to do or to afford weekly sessions, or maybe you may not be able to afford two sessions, the two sessions a week that you might need. But a support group might give you an opportunity to do that, because the support group costs often are less than what the individual sessions would be. And for people who do not have a way to cover individual services, support groups are a good alternative, because sometimes if you are able to find something that is being led by a professional that can where you can get some of the same resources, some similar resources to what you might get in an individual session, although it's not 100% tailored to you, being in a group, you may be able to, maybe a more cost-effective way to get that resource. And a lot of support groups are free. A lot of support groups are put together by different community organizations. They may have employed professionals who lead the groups, or sometimes they have trained members of the community who are leading the groups. Regardless of how it's being led, a lot of times the cost of participating in a support group can be less than the cost of participating in an individual counseling session. That is not to say it's not a substitute for individual sessions that are addressing specifically your issue and work focusing the whole time on you. But it is something that is there that can be used if you need it, and especially if you don't have the ability to participate in the one-on-one. The two can work together, and if you can't get one, sometimes at least you can get the other. Okay, let's do a quick recap. 1, taking part in the support group is a great way to be reminded that you are not alone, that you're not the only person that is going through this, and that there are other people who are surviving, thriving, and concurring whatever that issue is, whatever that situation is that you are living in. 2, it's a great place to feel supported and have your feelings and experiences validated in a way that is different from what everyone else is able to do, because these are people that can tell you, yes, I had that too. Yes, this happened to me too. 3, it's an opportunity to gain and share resources. There are a lot of things that people are learning as they are living in different experiences. And when you take a lot of times in support groups, they're able to share them with one another to help each other move through and concur or thrive with whatever that situation is that everyone is living through. And it's a good way to gain a different perspective. Sometimes we may need to have that mindset, that shift of mindset, that change in perspective, and working and engaging with others in the same situation can be a way to get that. And of course, it can be a much more cost-effective method of getting support, of getting help than the individual sessions if you're not able to afford them all together, or if you're not able to afford as many as you want. So participating in support groups can be more cost-effective because sometimes they are anywhere from free to a little bit less than what you would normally pay for an individual counseling copay, or sometimes even free of charge. Oh, I think I already said free. But anyways, yeah. Okay, as always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that there are professionals like myself who are available, able, and willing to help, and are even providing remote services who can assist with whatever you may have going on. So please figure out who those people are in your community so that if you need them, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.